So don't worry.
Ah.
Let me get my
what
tits here.
Today? Okay, well, hello and welcome to episode number 6 of the Becoming Show. And today I'm back with Travis Claus. Last week we talked about NLF. We talked about the four movements: standing, sitting, lying, and movement, walking. And I think today is, to me, is even much better because we're gonna dive into some of the pains that we all experience once in a while, or for some of us, a lot more often than once in a while. So, Travis, welcome back, and let's get into it.
Well, guys, so first off, I should say one of my favorite things that I've taken away from NLP is self-forgiving phrases. So I'm not going to apologize for anything. I'm going to thank you guys.
Let me do the apology. Let me do the apology.
Yeah, no, Quinn, don't do it. I swear, it's negative vibes. You want to say thank you for your patience.
Yeah. Okay.
So thanks for your patience, guys. So we've been running a lot of classes here, and something that I see time and again, the more people I see is we're all the same. I mean, there are threads that run through all of us because we all share the same biomechanical makeup, right? And so there are, if someone walks in off the street and I have to guess, I can put out a chart of 3 to 5 things. And if they're suffering, if they tell me they're suffering, one of those 3 to 5 things is what they're suffering from when they come in the door.
You mean in terms of the pains?
Yeah. I mean, it's we don't have that much equipment, you know what I mean? And there are certain things that in series, due to the unnatural nature of our modern life, the artificial evolutionary pressure, you can call it, that we've placed on this form, it breaks down in pretty predictable patterns.
Okay. All right. I have a list of questions for you today from myself, from my friends, and I actually Googled what's the most common disease, pains that are out there. And actually, I went through the list and I'm like, oh, I missed that one. Oh, I missed that one. So I added to my list of questions.
Beautiful.
Okay, so shall we I'm just going to go right into the questions, okay? Because here's the thing, Travis. The problem with most of us is that we assume that pain is normal. Or at least at some point, we come to accept that, oh, I guess that's normal.
Yeah.
And so you know, so maybe address that first. Is pain normal?
Well, in our class, is pain normal? Careful what you ask me. Depends. I mean, if I'm putting a knife through my hand, pain's pretty normal. So the thing is, you'd be surprised what people will accept. We've got, of course, the boiling toad, right? Where if you throw a toad in a pot and it's boiling water, it'll jump right back out, right? You throw a toad in a lukewarm pot where he's kind of comfortable, you can slowly apply heat, and in about 15 minutes, you got a floating dead toad, right? So you see people over their lifetime just become accustomed to pain, right? That's ridiculous. I've seen people that are in their mid-30s that have pretty much already given up on physical movement because, oh, you know, I'm getting older and stuff's supposed to hurt. 4 billion years life's been on this planet. I say this in all my classes. 4 billion years life has been on this planet, right? We are the apex species that this environment has produced. It'd be pretty ridiculous if, pending proper usage, this form that took all this time to research and development, design, and that's been around for over 100,000 years, basically in this form, just kind of hurt sometimes. And so I talk to people on those terms, and they're like, they start doing the you know, the meme where the guy looks at you to the side and then looks away. They give me one of those, right? And so we begin there, right? We begin at that point of assertion that this is absurd. And so it reframes everything. It reframes all of your experience of your body, your experience of physical reality through your body as a lens, right? And so it's a beautiful place to begin. You've already got them on your side, right? So now I've got you guys on my side. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't hurt if you use it right. Now,
Okay.
that's not saying that proper usage is going to turn you into some kind of superhero, right? It will inure you against damage. You'll get tougher. I was telling my class yesterday, I looked around the room and I said, okay, guys, if we all got in the same exact bike accident, because everybody rides motorbikes here, right? Said if we all got in the exact same motorbike accident, 2 days later, I'd be better off than all of you. Because my body's made of tougher stuff. I've made sure to take care of my mobility so that if I take an impact, it's coming into a system that's already lined up.
Yeah.
It's coming into a system that moves as is designed to move, has the proper mobility, has the proper strength of tissue and strength of just stability in general, so that if I take a hit, I recover much more quickly and the initial hit is distributed better. If you've got tight spots, if you've got any kind of place that's out of balance in your body, and then something bad happens, you're taking that into a system that's already compromised.
Yeah.
Part of what your system's designed to do is to take impact, right? And if you're out of alignment, especially chronically, dinosaur pose on the computer all day, out of alignment,
Yeah.
it's not going to go well for you. It's going to break somewhere. Someplace inside the system that kinetic energy is not going to be distributed. It's going to stop and it's going to come out at that spot. And where it does, we call that injury.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so let's talk about some of these common injuries then.
All right.
All right. So, and I wonder if it is from the wrong use of our body and postures, or could it be DNA or born with it? But okay, let's go over them. Okay. So for the first one that is really high right on top is lower back pain. Why is it that so many people wake up already feeling stiff in their lower back?
Okay.
Or
Well, let's
even
get
before is that normal?
I mean, it's normal. Again,
Okay.
normal.
Stop saying
Normal.
that,
Let's see
right?
what normal means. No, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Let's take that phrase. Let's take that term. Normal. What does normal mean?
Okay.
Normal means adhering to the norm, right? Is lower back pain normal? Go look around your office. Go ask around your office at work. Hey guys, you got back pain? Yeah. Well, back pain's normal.
Yeah.
What we've done is we've taken our frame that's made for movement, right? And we've put it in a position where it's like this, because rest means something different now. Before I showed you guys the 5 checkpoints, 5 feet, knees, hips, shoulders, head, and neck. We're lined up like that against gravity so that our muscles take on the weight, the force of gravity pushing us towards the center of the planet. Then anytime we add anything to our skeleton, it goes into the upper unit, if it's properly braced, down the spine, and is directed into the hips, which then in turn directs it down, communicates that force through the knees, doesn't stop at the knees, communicates that force through the knees and into the heels, right? Boom, 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 down through like lightning, Magnetism, electricity, they've got some similarities, right? They both go to ground, right? All 2 of them, they all go to ground. Both of them go to ground. And the way that gravity goes to ground is it passes through physical systems. It passes through mass, right? And so it passes like electricity, following the path of least resistance or the path of the vector of mechanical communication into your heels, right? It all passes through the spine. And so the spine is designed here with no bones in this front area, just muscle. And we know that the spine, the skeleton's inert, muscle does all the working, muscle does all the holding of the force. And so this whole area is, from a functional, structural perspective, it's designed to take on that force of being, right, of moving around.
Okay.
And so if we take it out of that alignment that it's in, where it communicates that force, and we bend it forward like that, it doesn't work anymore. It's like taking a slinky or a spring. If you take a spring and you twist it to the side, it doesn't take force anymore. It just breaks in the middle, right?
Yeah.
If you take a spring and line it up the right way, wunga, 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 wunga all day long.
Right.
But if you bend it to the side and you push on it, ting, it'll break if you give it enough force, right? Or it'll bend and it'll deform.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing, your spine spring, right?
That
And
is
so
such
we
a good
spend
visual. That is such a good visual, Travis. Yeah, the spring. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the miracle of technology. You know, I mean, I'm on the other side of the world doing it. So I'm still fascinated by these things after 6 years in the jungle, guys. So check it out. We've changed what rest means, okay? Back when we had an active lifestyle, back when we were moving around to feed ourselves, rest was this. I'm resting because I'm not actively doing things. Everything's relative, right? I'm not out there cutting down a bunch of hay. And so standing here is a rest pose, right? It's a rest position for the body, right?
Mm.
So now all my work happens here and here. This is a rest pose because I want to use as little energy as possible to support the process that's important, right? All this that's not here becomes secondary. And so we don't neatly fold our clothes and lay them on the shelf. We just drape that shit over the back of the chair. We sit our body down like this, and we just get as comfortable as we possibly can in this awful position where we've got the major joints of our body in flexion. We've got our knees in flexion, we've got our hips in flexion, we've got our spine in flexion. It's not a rest position because our body thinks everything's flexed.
Yeah.
And so all the muscles that are responsible for flexion shorten. All the muscles that are responsible for holding that in balance with extension lengthen. And so we end up in this position like this. And your body's not one piece. It's not even a sum of all, it's more than the sum of all its parts. You put all these units together and the way that they interlock is art. It's beautiful the way that your body achieves movement through a balanced system. And so when you take that out of alignment, more than the area that you've taken out of alignment suffers. And you get compound breakdowns. You get compensation patterns because you still need to achieve movement. And now you've convinced this system that this is a rest position, that this is neutral, and you want to achieve movement with this? That's great if you're a dinosaur, because you're going to be up walking around like this. But people look at you funny. Trust me, I tried.
But you know what though? Okay, so the cause of that is that, and then so that also connects because that position right there connects right to the neck and shoulder problem because they kind of that goes together. But in that case, and I would argue that some people suffer one and not the other. So then, if that's the case, it's probably not due to some other stuff to not just the position of their sitting or working sitting.
Are you seeing the neck thing and the back thing? Not everybody suffers the neck and low back. Check this out. People have a tendency, we all have a tendency to generalize. And so when you say it's unhealthy to sit in front of the computer, sitting in front of the computer becomes fungible, right? A computer sitter becomes fungible. A computer sitter is a computer sitter is a computer sitter is a computer sitter. Not so. Check this out. You're performing an act of force generation. Right now, you're performing an act of force generation. You're generating force. And when we perform acts of force generation, we train the body to get better at specifically generating force in that posture and in that way. So, let me see if I can do this. If I've got my desk here, and I'm sitting at my desk, and I've got myself close to the desk, and my chair is at the right level, and my monitor is at the right level, the only thing that makes sense to do is sit like this, because that aligns with what I'm interacting with, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If I move back and keep the monitor at the same level, look what happens to my shoulders.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
If I move my monitor down, look what happens to my neck.
Okay.
It's a thing you're doing, guys. It's not just, it's not an earthquake. It's not a rainstorm. It's not a thing that's happening to you. You're doing it. It's a thing you're doing, okay? And so because it's a thing you're doing, you have control over it ultimately. You can do it right as possible, because I mean, there really is no right way to sit with the major joints of your lower body in flexion for the majority of your time and then get up and trot off like nothing happened. But you can understand what you're doing, and you can kind of ameliorate that. When I've thought about this, I think you should do it every 30 seconds. She says every hour. Get up, take a little break, and walk around, right? Well, I'm just going for 30 minutes. I'll push it if you let me.
Okay, wait. Travis, I'm not sure if it's just you, but I'm thinking you're really fuzzy right now, and your internet kind of broke up. Hold on. Maybe repeat the last 1 or 2 minutes, please. Yeah, now we can see you back.
The last 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes.
Back to, tell me where to pick up. Go hunch over the desk?
Yeah.
Should I hunch back over the desk?
Yes.
All right, guys, so check it out. The fast and dirty, I love this because I like being able to repeat myself because then I'll say it better the second time, hopefully. Life's all about second chances, guys. So check it out. Remember, guys, there is no moment during the day. I like this, we should mess this up more often. There is no moment during the day when what's happening to your body is just happening to your body unless you're lying completely inert or flying through the air because you've been hit by a car or something, okay? As long as you are in conscious control of your meat suit, whatever it's doing, the conditions therein are something that you're doing, okay? Right now, sitting there watching this, you're performing an act of force generation. You're generating enough force to sit up upright or hunch over, however the hell you're doing this. You're exercising will in holding your body the way you're holding it, which is an act of force generation. That's how we train the body, right? You come into this workshop here and we'll have you perform feats of force generation with your body in specific structured ways that will produce the results we're looking for. Right now, if you're suffering, if your body hurts, you're performing acts of force generation that are leading to that result. And so what I was saying was, she brought up the distinction very intelligently and beautifully too, intelligently and beautifully. She brought up the idea, I'm going to try to butter one up as much as I can here, especially after I was regrettably delayed this morning. So check this out, guys. If you sit here in front of your computer, right? Well, sit here in front of your computer. And you've got your monitor here, and you've got your seat here, and you've got your desktop here. This is where you sit because this makes sense for the task that you're performing, right? I look straight ahead and see the monitor. I reach out at exactly this angle and I hit the keyboard. I sit here because this is where my chair is relative to the front of my desk. No problem. I'm pretty comfortable and I'm performing the task that I'm trying to perform, right? If I move back, now I gotta reach forward and do that. And if the monitor is at the same place, I gotta hunch my neck up like this to see it because my back came forward. So what I'll do, some people, is I'll move the monitor down. So now I don't have that neck problem.
Okay.
All I've done is change subtly the act of force generation necessary for me to stay in that chair, in that position while I perform that task, right? That makes a huge difference. So the best you can do in that situation is set yourself up for success. If you know how the body is designed, if you know the structure of the body, then you align it with the task that you're performing as best you can. At the same time, you become aware of the places where you can't do so, your lower body, and you ameliorate that by get up once an hour, walk around. You know what I mean? Get back down. I would say 30 seconds, but once an hour, and whatever you office sitters do. You know, I don't know about you guys' time.
So last week we already negotiated from half an hour is too often. So we negotiated to 1 hour.
You know, she always thinks negotiations are over. You know, it's never over. But yeah, an hour works. An hour works. That does seem reasonable.
Yeah.
So yeah, every hour, guys, get up and move. Your muscles are pumps. Among many other things, your muscles are pumps. And a big part of the problem, you ever see people with those big, fat, gnarly, varicose veins? They had a position where they were standing and walking here and walking here and walking here and walking here. Never walking over here. Never going down that way. Just walking here and walking here and walking here. And what happens there is the muscles move enough that they require some blood, but they don't move enough to pump that blood back up where it came from. And so it pools down there in the veins and it bulges things out when it defeats the muscles, right? Varicose veins.
Oh, wait. Okay. See, I never heard that explained that way before. Okay, repeat that. Okay, but let me clarify. So varicose veins, because I have a brother-in-law who actually has that problem, and he actually has to go have the surgeries to remove the
Rip them out.
veins.
Yeah.
So, and the cause of it is because they move only within a very close by vicinity and not
Your muscles.
far enough,
Yeah.
not enough movement.
It's like I said, it's art. The systems of your body, the way the systems of your body interplay and interlock is art. One of the things is your vascular system. You are designed to have, I mean, your heart's not beefy enough to push that blood all the way on its own, right? The lower extremities, especially, it's fighting gravity. And so the blood gets down there, and if it can't have a little help, it can't get back up. So it kind of pools unless you move around enough to activate that pumping action within the muscles themselves. Then it shoots it back up there. It helps the heart out, right? Beautiful, brilliant, amazing, right? Put our top engineers on that. We'll reverse engineer it and change agriculture forever. Something, you know what I mean? Like these are the kind of miracles you discover when you start looking at how the body just simply works.
Right.
And you look at the problems that people have, and instead of saying, oh, another earthquake, you say, well, shit, what did we do to make that happen? And then it's like, oh, wow, that's how that's supposed to work? No problem. I'll do these things, and then that won't happen anymore. But we're having all these problems come up because we've changed the evolutionary pressure. We've added this weird thing that we do now instead of these other things we used to do. You know what I mean? Like,
So you know what? Just back to the varicose, because I think you're going to be able to help a lot of people avoid that problem now that we know that. So in that case, if they are stuck in a small space like a pharmacy counter where they have only about maybe 20 feet or so, or maybe even 10 or 15. But the thing is, if the space is small, that they cannot do too much walking to pump all the blood up again, should they be doing jumping jacks or what? What should they do to avoid that varicose problem? Squat?
squats.
Okay.
Everybody. Yeah, just rock some squats, guys.
Just do
Get
some
up,
squat.
move around, do some squats, make your muscles work. You're already going to be tired. So people, it's strange, man. People really become movement averse. And I see this with my mother. They say you can never coach your family. You're way too close, and you can't assume the right attitude sometimes with them. And they'll use whatever
Just go
position they
whack
have
you,
in their
right?
life
It's
to
your
walk
mom.
over.
She can
Yeah,
whack
what am I going to say to mom, right? I got her to go keto for a month, and she lost like 15 pounds, though.
Ooh.
It was nice. But she bitched the whole time. She's a soldier, so she did her job, but she complained every step of the way. Good soldier. So with her, I found she's movement averse. She's gotten to this point where, well, think about it. We got this weird psychology where if you keep working, okay, if you knuckle down, keep your nose to the grindstone, and you just push through till you get that gold watch, what's your reward? What's the big thing that everybody in the Imperial Corps wants more than anything as their gem at the end? The ability to do nothing. They want to retire. Everybody wants to retire. Everybody just wants to go off and do nothing. What do you do in your spare time? As little as possible. We know that because
No. I think people want to retire and do what they want to do, not do nothing. Doing nothing would really suck.
pull back. Look at them. The majority of people, I'm not talking about you and me, of course, we're going to be climbing mountains and writing poetry and shit.
No, I mean,
I'm
everybody.
talking about the
everybody.
average person. And I'm talking about us too, you and I. When you've got time off, is it ever a struggle to make yourself get up and go do something really awesome? Because, man, I have to do so much stuff Just stuff, more stuff. Hey, gotta hurry. It's time for stuff. So our lives are so packed with obligation that really all of us subconsciously, some days, man, and more days sometimes than we'd like to admit, have a tendency to want to do nothing. And so you watch yourself. I've watched you enough, young lady. I know you're fitting in this. I'm watching to see until the spark of realization comes on and you say, oh yeah, I've seen you train. Don't forget. We de-emphasize what we see as being extra exertion.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
We have a tendency to stay soft all the time, and it seeps in everywhere. And it's because of this hyperactive, pressurized life that we have to live to pay the rent, to do day-to-day normal things these days. And so you look at it, people have less and less active hobbies these days. There's still some of us that, man, if I'm not training, I'm in the backcountry. Like if I was back in the land I claimed, the Pacific Northwest, I was either training in the gym, helping out my clients, or I was in the car, or I was in the backcountry, sleeping under the stars, climbing trees, running around screaming with the wild critters and stuff. That's what I wanted to do. But more and more, I saw these kids.
Mm-hmm.
I saw these adults.
Yeah.
The adults will be this. The adults have the iPad. I mean, because now you got money. You got an iPad, right? The kids are on their phones. The adults, they're more dignified. They're on their iPad. But they're lost. They're gone. Baudrillard. Talked about the simulacra.
And speaking of those devices, the phones and the iPads are actually one of the biggest culprits of all the neck problems and the shoulder problems and maybe even headaches because of it forces your neck to be down like this.
And again, guys, look at it. What are we doing there? It's an active force generation. If you look at everything as an active force generation and understand that the skeleton's inert, the muscles are acting, look at every movement you're performing. Look at every act of force generation you're putting out. And that is an act of force generation. I'm generating force to hold my neck in whatever attitude I hold it in, right?
Right.
If it's this, it's out of alignment. And that means these muscles here are pulled tight to pull it forward. These muscles here are lengthened. And so I end up in this situation. Now I've used these. This is the fun part. I've used these muscles to pull this 8-9 pounds of bone and meat forward. And now I've lengthened these muscles back here that are supposed to pull it back. I pulled this thing into a situation where its own weight is now going to become a problem for muscles that I lengthened so that they're not as strong. And now I wonder why my neck hurts. Because it's still pulled forward. When I stand up like this, it's still pulled forward. And so it's pulled forward against muscles that I've loosened up, and its own weight is not able to be supported by the structures that I myself have weakened by putting it in that perspective in the first place. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
This is why it makes me insane.
Yeah. So then in that case, can you actually fix this problem ourselves, or we actually have to go to a massage therapist or someone to fix it for us, or a chiropractor?
Well, here's the thing. Again, everybody's different. No two people are the same. I've had a series of individuals this entire time, hundreds of individuals. Shit, now that we've done group classes, it jumped into the thousands of individuals I've seen and worked with. Individuals. Because everybody's somewhere on the spectrum. Everybody's specifically affected in this way or that way. And even if they came in with identical problems, they'd have to have identical systems otherwise for those problems to be manifesting the exact same way, right? So I can't say 100% that yes, you can fix it without a chiropractor, but I can say that in the States, I don't know about the Great White North, you guys do things different above the ice wall. You can pretty much go hang up a shingle that says Wilbur Jenkins, chiropractor, and you're a chiropractor.
Not so. We can do that.
there's a bit more that goes into it, but it's really not that involved. It's not as involved as people would think it is in the States. So what I'm saying there is, I look at things like that the way I look at personal training. Yeah. Come to me if I were still taking individual clients. Come to me. I'll take care of you. You pay your hourly rate, and yeah, we'll make sure you get your results. But I'm just a guy, and I'm just learning this stuff myself. I've learned all these things. I got this experience, et cetera, et cetera. If you wanted to, you got the same internet I do, I would try it yourself first. Look at what you can do. Look online. Come listen to classes like this. See what you can do for yourself. Because the thing is, you don't want to enter into a cycle where you're constantly having to rely on a professional to continue to just exist. That's all I'm saying. If it turns out that you've got an issue, yeah, that's bad enough. Maybe see a doctor, maybe have a consultation with a chiro, see where you're at. But the reason I'm so stiff with that is I've seen people that will put a Band-Aid on it. And put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
Put a Band-Aid on it. Put a Band-Aid on it and die. Try it first. There's a lot of stuff you can do, guys, with your movement. If you understand, that's the point of our course. We want to put you in a position of power where, like, if you do need a doctor, if you do need a further professional, you'll understand that, and you'll say, yeah, you know what? This is beyond the power of my magic. I've got to go to somebody else and have a professional look at this. I don't like the idea of people just, well, I gotta go find somebody to fix me. You don't need fixed, man. You need change. You need to change what you're doing, change your behavior, change your results.
Yeah.
Because I believe, honestly, if I could credit anything with the mind that I have, that builds the reality that I have, that shapes the blah, 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 it would be the path. And the path is know thyself. And if you kind of port everything off to somebody else, if you take the experience of your being and give that responsibility to somebody else, say, fix me every single time, then you're going to miss out on the growth of becoming what you need to become.
Yeah.
You may never get there. And I think a lot of the things that we suffer from these days are symptomatic. And I think that if we began to look with more responsibility at the results we get in our body specifically, that it would change a lot of other attitudes we have towards reality in general.
Great. I love where we're going, because I know that the way that you teach and the way that you run the classes is always around helping us see. So first of all, see what we're doing, our current habits, become aware of it, and then change it to what it should be, so that these pains don't exist anymore. And having been through it, man, it's hard to change, because sometimes it's like I'm sitting here, sitting pretty straight. I have my 1 hour alarm to stand up and walk around, and then sometimes I would see my belly inflated, like just protruding out, instead of sucking it in and firming it up. Like you've said that the entire 7 days in class, and I still forget to do it.
It's that linkage.
It's not there. Yeah.
That's that thing. That's that linkage. And that's what I'm talking about, is if you take everything and make it somebody else's responsibility.
Yeah. Okay, this is so good. Okay, this is so good, because I think you've hit on a few of the really main pain points. But that was only 3 so far, and I have a list of 15. Can we go through more?
Holy crap! Go for it. Just hit me with a shotgun blast up, and I'll see if I can knock them out together.
Yeah. What I think you just did was actually demoed why these pains already existed. So the neck, the shoulder, the back pain, the lower back, all 3 are connected to how we sit and how our neck is positioned already. And then the next thing let's go down a little bit more. Knee pain is also one of the top 5 types of pain up there, on the body at least. So knee pain, can you explain how, why, or how to fix it, or how to prevent it from happening?
So with what we've spoken about so far, we have eaten some time on that, but check it out. That right there sets us up for everything else. Because if you understand what we've talked about so far, the way that the spine is supposed to direct force into the lower unit and then communicate that force into the ground so we can use it as leverage for movement or just standing, you understand that now all the other systems are going to be having problems, will be thrown into disarray, right? The force is no longer being communicated properly into the pelvis, okay? So now the pelvis kicks forward a little bit, the butt cheeks come together, and you get this, and instead of being stable through the middle, you're now stable through the pelvis. And so but it's a strange kind of stable, because look, you've got your hips in flexion, right? And so with your hips in flexion, your hip flexors, the ones that flex your hips, are tightened, right? But you've also got your knees in flexion. So your hamstrings on the backside are also shortened. So you've got long glutes, your gluteus maximus back here, that are lengthened, right? You've got hip flexors that are shortened, and then you've got hamstrings that are also shortened. So you end up in this system where when you try to straighten that out, nothing works right. You've got pressure downward on your pelvis, pulling it this way, and you've got pressure upward on your legs, pulling them up that way, and it jerks the pelvis out of position. So now your hips don't work anymore. And so your knees kick out that way. And when that happens, instead of working like this, like your legs are supposed to, your legs now can't work like that. They just don't do that. And so you end up walking with your knees out. And that force, I always talk about, remember Pigpen from Charlie Brown? The old Charlie Brown cartoons? Yeah, I forgot, you guys don't have TV up there. So in America, they've got this thing, this box that pictures come out of. And we used to draw pictures, lots of pictures, and you put them together and they'd make this thing for children called cartoon, right? And Charlie Brown.
I do watch cartoon, just not Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown. Okay, maybe it was before your time, young lady. Charlie Brown had this character that was stinky. His name was Pigpen, and you could tell he was stinky, even though it was a cartoon, because he had stink lines coming off of him. They drew little squiggles, and he always had little flies flying around him. Right? I imagine that when I see movement, when I see force, expressed through a system. And so when the knees come forward like that, I picture these little stink lines coming out, right? Because the force is escaping from the system.
Wow.
And so when you walk, I'm a weird guy, guys. When you walk, gravity's still a factor, okay? So gravity's always riding everything. Thanks, Modest Mouse. Gravity rides everything. And so if you're moving forward like this, gravity's riding that movement, and the force vector is like that, down and forward at all times, right? And so when you're walking, your weight is still trying to go to the center of the planet, but your center of mass is moving forward, right? That expresses itself as down forward, and you've got knees that are kicked out like this, okay? Knees are great at hinging like that, not so great at turning to the side like that, right? And so that pressure comes out through the inside of your knees, and now you crack to the inside. And so the joint that's supposed to do this is now doing this. It's grinding on one side, it's separating on the other side. And so my knees hurt. Or you will end up in a situation where you are either like this, out, like that,
Yeah.
or your pelvis locks up and you go forward into your knees. And everything happens that way. And now my stink lines come out here because strong knees follow toes, but they never catch them.
Okay.
I always imagine a dog chasing a car. If a dog chases a car, that's fine. If a dog catches a car, the dog's got a problem. So if your knees go past your toes, that force that's created there no longer communicates through the system. And if you know any machinists, nobody's a machinist anymore. If my grandparents, my granddad knows some machinists, they'll call that shear force,
Okay.
where two things reach a point in a mechanical system where it's no longer, the force is no longer being communicated, and it shears off. And I like that word because it sounds duly dramatic for what's going on inside your knees when you let those guys go past your toes, or when you balance your movement off your knees and you create a point of stability there instead of in your hips. And so, as I said, you've got that asymmetrical tightness in the two different systems. Okay, you've got your quadriceps and your hamstrings. Quadriceps are supposed to be knee extension, hamstrings supposed to be flexion. If you sit like that, they're out of balance. Quadriceps can no longer stabilize the knee, hamstrings pulling too tight. You get your glutes and your hip flexors that respectively flex and extend the hip. If they're out of alignment and this other system's out of alignment, you got double pressure on your pelvis that creates a stiff pelvis where your hips don't activate anymore. Now you're in your knees because you don't have a choice, and knees are not very good at handling a three-dimensional world because all they do is hinge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple to understand, guys. It's not rocket surgery.
Okay. So then to fix it, I now understand why when we wear the kneecaps, it keeps it.
It just basically, it's a Band-Aid, man. It just holds that damn thing together. It's like, please don't. I'll apply physical pressure if you'll just hold together a little longer.
No, but you know what? I do understand that when we wear the knee wrap, it forces the knee can only move in the right position. So therefore, it doesn't have that wrong position where it creates the pain. Now I get why it works.
That's one way to look at it. Okay. It does that to a certain extent. They've found, though, that beyond that certain extent, what it does is it squeezes the thing together while you're doing that to it. For a minute, it squeezes it together to kind of prevent you from doing that to it. Mm-hmm. But over time, as you rely on a knee brace, what happens is you've got all that going on in there still, the gapping and the grinding, but now you've got pressure too. So like, it's like someone's giving it a nice, solid, warm hug while you grind it and gap it. You know what I mean? And so it's just allowing you to do that longer.
Wow. Oh man. Okay, wait. So does that mean we should not wear the knee brace when we're...
It means you should get your shit together and fix your movement. That's what it means.
Get your shit together, not the knee brace, okay?
Yeah, man.
Okay, you know what? Because when I go hiking, and because sometimes I still feel the pinch of the knee pain, so I do wear the knee brace when I hike because to prevent it from happening.
Bring one with you. I mean, I'm kind of a hard-nosed guy sometimes. Bring one with you, which is crazy because look at all that nose. Bring one with you, just in case. Because I'm not saying that they're useless. I'm not throwing them out the window, but I am saying, hey, look, man, don't rely on that. Yeah. Your body is well sufficient in and of itself to do what you're asking of it. You're just putting an extra piece in there, and I don't know if that's the solution you want long term.
Of course, we don't want that long term. So that's why I just need to work with you a little bit one-on-one so I can actually fix it before I go hiking again.
Plane tickets are cheap.
But you know what? Okay, I understand the benefit, but also the pros and the cons of wearing that knee brace now. I never thought of it that way. So, okay, thank you for pointing that out and also explaining why it's good short term, but then it's actually hurting you long term. Oh man, that sucks.
It's all in here, man. You didn't evolve an knee brace.
Yeah. So that means the key is I just have to get my shit together. That's all.
We'll make t-shirts.
Okay, actually earlier you also touched on hip pain and tight hips and joint right here on the groin. So to fix that problem, is it just the stretching?
Well, see, now that's where we get kind of complex with the musculature. Like up in the neck here, extremely complicated, right? You can do some self-massage, you can do some stretching, you can do some foam rolling, things like that to break stuff up.
I
Same
have this
thing. Yeah,
too.
one of the little sticker things. I
Yeah.
prefer the tennis ball or the dense rubber ball, not the hard one, but like the kind of soft, squishy. Oh,
Yeah.
and that saves my hips. I do kettlebells. I love kettlebells. Kettlebells and TRX are my jam now. And
Yeah.
so and I got this big juicy ghetto butt I showed you guys a minute ago. My gat, as the kids would say. If I don't use a ball on that thing and then do some stretching regularly, if I'm active, it starts to get a little bound up.
Okay.
You're going to use it. It's going to respond. Be ready for that. That's not pain. That's not injury. That's the result of proper usage, right? So again, everybody wants to be able, oh, okay, if I just applied these techniques, I'll be just fine, huh? There's some people here in Vietnam that we laugh at constantly. They're on Facebook and they've got this thing, this program where if you do this one thing, they say, if you do this for an hour a day, you'll be just fine. Is that thing structured movement? Is that thing like moving your body in ways that build it to work right? Because if not, then that thing is not going to do it. Your body's made for movement. Again and again and again these days, it's 2026. We've had plenty of time. We've studied all these different programs. The results are back. Sorry, guys. Turns out you really do have to do movement. If you want a healthy body, the thing that makes the biggest difference, rehab yourself, put yourself back in balance. Do the self-myofascial release. If it's real bad, go to a sports massage a couple times, have them unlock some things for you, but then begin to move properly and begin to move often. My favorite guy says, move well, then move often. That is the tonic. That is the tonic. You need to learn how to move right, and you need to do that. And if you do that, you don't need to exert yourself. You don't need to beat yourself up. You just need to prepare yourself. What am I going to use this thing for? I better go out and prepare this thing for that kind of use, and then I'll be fine.
Okay.
So, in answer to your question, to shorten that back out, with the hips, you've got muscles that pull all different directions to balance that. It's woven with muscle to balance that structure, right? You're supposed to be walking out of your hips. You're supposed to be lining your feet up. We talked about gait last time, right?
Yeah.
You walk in alignment, right? Strong feet, strong knees follow toes, because that's how your knees are designed to communicate the force generated at your hips to propel you through space, right? So if the muscles in your hips get tight from all this sitting and stuff, approach it intelligently. The ones that are shortened, stretch them. If you're resistant to stretching, you've gotten to the point where things are out of whack enough to hurt, find a foam roller, roll yourself out in these different places where you know the muscles, by looking at it, are shortened.
Wait, Travis,
Then,
wait, Travis, you're breaking up again. And that was like you're breaking up again. So maybe repeat the last 1 minute. Because this solution people will want to hear.
The old song says breaking up is hard to do.
Start over from the solution. What to do with the hip.
Again, look at it intelligently, guys. I've known a lot of personal trainers, and there's a lot more jawline than there is a frontal lobe going on. So it's not beyond you to understand these things on the base level enough that you can take management of your own system. You've got muscles that go this way, muscles that go that way. If you put the joint like this, the muscle that does this is going to get short. The muscle that does this is going to get long. Lengthen the short ones. Find your way into a stretch routine every morning. 15 minutes is all it should take. 10, 15 minutes tops. Look at the muscles that you're using, the way you're using them. If you're sitting down, you're using your muscles in that way. You've shortened your hamstrings, you've lengthened your quadriceps, you've shortened your hip flexors, and you've lengthened your glutes, okay? Now your piriformis will also come into play. It's a muscle that rotates the hip outward, right? It'll be shortened a bit because you have a tendency to kick your legs open while you sit there, right? Think about it mechanically. Look at a diagram, and then that'll be it. You'll understand it. The muscles that are shortened, get a tennis ball, get a foam roller, roll those out, and then do a stretch. You've got the same internet I do, or you can come back to us. We do that in the course. We break down these things for you in the course. We make it simple. We make you experience it. And then, boom, it's anchored inside your brain. But if you don't have time for that, go find this stuff on your own. It's out there. Stretch out a little bit, 10, 15 minutes in the morning, and it'll change your day. It'll change your life, because all these systems, anything that runs your lower body, incidentally, Quinn, anything that runs your lower body has to anchor somewhere, huh? Muscles anchor in two places. They anchor where they want stability to start, where they gain leverage, and they anchor where they gain leverage to do the work, right? My bicep, for instance, is up underneath my shoulder and down in my forearm. Up here, it gains leverage to have a base. Down here, it does work, right? If I've got these big muscles working my legs, where do you think they have to anchor to gain that initial leverage? Structurally, they don't have a whole lot of choices. It's the low back. And so that's why they say stretching for the low back's not necessarily the best thing. Stretch your hips. If your back hurts, do these things for your hips. Look at your hips mechanically, like I just broke down there. Tights and looses, and then go get a foam roller, get a tennis ball, knock that out a little bit. Learn how to do these things for yourself. Don't rely on going to somebody else, because you won't do it. And you'll sit and suffer for 2 weeks. Oh, gotta go to the chiropractor. Man, I really gotta get to the chiropractor. Whew, geez, I keep putting off going to the chiropractor. You mean you continue to suffer when you could probably do something about it yourself, huh? So learn how to do some of these things. Take this on. Learn this system. Release these big muscles that are anchored to your low back, and watch how your life changes.
Great. You know what? I'm going to request a gift from you for everyone who actually is watching or will be watching this sometime in the future. This 15-minute stretch, can we please record that and then let them have it?
Right now?
No, not right now. Like in the future.
I'm checking the time, right?
No, not right now. I don't have time. But you know what? I would love for you to give them that stretch exercise. Because what you just say makes so much sense, but I still can't. I don't think people can picture it or do it themselves. And instead of them having to go search for it somewhere else, let's just create it for them.
Outstanding, absolutely. And you know, if you ever ask someone a question or a request and they go, right now, that's a kind of yes. So of course, yeah, no problem. That's a flavor of yes.
Okay, all right, let me move down the thing. Okay, so another really big pain that a lot of athletics have, or at least people who actually have some sort of sportive. So they have wrist pain and they have elbow pain. Tennis elbow, or the other one, the opposite of it is golfer's elbow. And then wrist pain. So all of these are kind of have to do with, now it doesn't have to be a job, like sports. The tennis elbow doesn't mean that you actually have to play tennis to actually have this problem. Because I have a friend who doesn't play tennis, but she has major tennis elbow problems. So can you talk about these kinds of
elbow, wrist, elbow, wrist, right?
Let's see how we can fix this.
Well, guys, check it out. As far as your upper unit goes, your lower unit, we're easy to understand, guys. We're a meat machine. The lower unit has 2 hips, right? And those hips are pretty stable. They're bound together in the middle by a little ring of cartilage, and they're like that. They don't move much, right? But the bones that come out of them, the hips, have this range of motion in a stable place because the hips are kind of locked up, right? The shoulders, on the other hand, have 2 separate positions. You've got back here with the shoulder blades knit together, and you've got forward here with your shoulder blades protracted, right? So retracted, protracted, right?
Yeah.
This is so you can do things like this, fine motor stuff, which a lot of us
reaching forward, basically. Yeah.
Pay the rent with, you know what I mean? And so if I look at a crane, driving around any U.S. city, I lived in Seattle, man, you saw cranes, like it was weird. They were part of the skyline. Always there were cranes, right? And if you look at a crane, it's a little tiny box with a man in it, right? And this big long arm that comes out and picks up goodies and drops them down, right? How's that happen? Well, look at that little box with the man in it, and it's got a stack of like big chunks of metal on the back of it, right? Anchoring that arm so that it can go out and do what it does, right? If I'm performing like load-bearing things, like picking heavy stuff up, or repetitive things out here with my elbows, with my wrists, in an unsupported attitude, everything, every little bit of force that passes into this system stops here. And so everything from here down has less support because the show stops here. There's a break, there's a kinetic break right there before it enters into the system, right? And so my shoulder being the main stabilizer, it can't stabilize that much in this position, right? If I move it back here, and I begin doing things with my arms back here with my shoulder blades properly, like my hips are, stabilized, locked in position, now I've got the stability of the upper body. I've got the whole T-spine. I've got, you back? The whole T-spine. I've got the whole core. I've got everything here as the stable base from which that movement, that active force generation proceeds, right? Much less strain on the system. It's going to be a lot easier on everybody involved, right? And so I see a lot of people forward here doing stuff, and they'll put too much focus on certain areas, and I don't know why my wrist hurts. Well, it's because you're doing this. You got your wrist all out there singing Celine Dion, and like the rest of your body's back. All by myself. You know what I'm saying? I threw a Canadian reference in there, and it's all out here singing Celine Dion, and now you wonder why it hurts, right?
Yeah.
Bring it into the team, you know, make it part of the whole family, and now the stress is distributed better.
Okay.
So that's the first thing.
Okay.
Beyond that, you've now got a problem. I mean, we can sit and argue with the truck, but it's already hit you. So your arm's out here, you've done these things, now it hurts. Okay? First step, stop doing that.
Okay.
We've discussed step number A. Step number 2 is going to be whatever you need to do. You are now injured. Go see a doctor. Okay? See what that doctor says. Maybe a physio even. Go see what that doctor says. I don't know how fast you guys can get to a physiotherapist or a physical therapist or anything like that. You probably have to go through a doctor route. Go see a doctor, see what they say. Okay? Follow the guidelines they give you on it because you're already injured, right? Then come back to somebody like me. But while you wait, fix your movement. Bring your shoulders back here. Start doing things with a better mental focus. Because again, I see that as just another act of throwing the body over a chair because you're not acting with intention. You're acting out of habit. You're acting out of reflex. You're reacting, right? Don't do that. Have a plan. Think about your body. Conceive of your physicality and then interact with your physical reality, right? People just go about it. They take it for granted. So don't take your body for granted. Remember what it is. Remember that everything you do is an act of force generation. Do it consciously, willfully. And so pull that back in there. Support it. Don't move in ways that don't feel supported. Don't do things that don't feel safe. If you feel weak, if you feel there's a feeling of threat. There's a feeling of anxiety that a lot of people have when it comes to thinking about anything physical. I see it every single class because I'll put 12 kgs in front of a lady. And this lady will look at me like I got one growing out of my forehead. I can't pick that up. Prove it. Show me. Show me how you do. I can't pick that up. She'll grab it. And somebody will get shown something, but it's usually not me. All of a sudden, she's got 12 kg in her hand, and she's like, because 30 seconds ago, she couldn't pick that up. She couldn't. Because she wouldn't have. There's no way in hell, unprompted, she would have approached that weight and picked it up because she feels this anxiety about physicality. And so if we approach physicality with that anxiety, we're going to Just give it as much as we can. We're not going to really apply it. We're just going to put our wrists out there to get hurt. Grab that. Whatever it is, put your body into it and do these things, guys. It's that peeking out from between the fingers that ruins most people's movement.
Okay. So then with the back to the wrist pain or the elbow, tennis elbow pain, basically there's no stretch or things that we can do to reverse that. We just have to go through the physiotherapy and the doctor route then? Okay.
Go check
next time.
Yeah, go check the doc, see what they have to say, because there could be joint damage. There could be, the thing is with your wrist, most of the time, I mean, you guys know there's no muscle, right? Like all the muscle that this is back here. Your forearm muscles drive the action of your fingers. So all of that's tendon, right? And so a lot of this is connective tissue. There's muscle in here too, but it's mainly connective tissue. There's a lot of connective tissue action inside there. So if you've got wrist pain, what I would say to do to kind of alleviate it, if you can, is work on massaging your forearm. Find the places in there, move your fingers around. Find the places in there where the specific finger is represented by the muscle that you feel.
Yeah.
And give that some massage. Maybe throw an elbow into it, drop it across your leg, throw an elbow into it a bit, kind of work that out some. But if it's chronic, if it's repeated, if it feels like it's bone, go see a doctor, man. I don't waste time. I don't waste time trying to give people half fixes because, again, I can't be all things, all people. I don't waste time trying to give people fixes for things they could go see a doc for and then come back to me with like a workable plan. Because if I know what you've got, if I know how bad the damage is, tennis elbow can be bad. It can be tendon damage. It can require surgery. Same thing with wrist problems. It can require surgery. And if I tell you to massage it, you've lost 6 months.
Good advice. Thank you for that. Okay, a few more. Wow, we just passed the 1 hour mark. But you know what? I think it's I think this is important. So let's please continue. A few more. Okay, so in terms of if we were to move down a little bit more, some people actually have foot pain, like plantar fasciitis. I think that's how you say it.
What was it? Plantar what now?
So foot pain. When they
It's fasciitis.
Yeah. What? How do you say it? I can't pronounce.
How do you say it? What was that again? I'm sorry, I couldn't. It got fuzzy for a minute.
I thought it was fasciitis. It's not. So it's, how do you say it?
What? How do you say it?
Fasciitis.
Fasciitis. You said it right. I'm just giving you a hard time. Fasciitis.
Oh. Okay. Gotcha. And,
I know English is your second language. Canadian's the first, right?
Canadian, yes.
A.
Yes. Okay, so then in terms of pain on the foot, could it be injury, or is it just because of the way the foot is hitting the ground that is causing them the pain?
Could be a lot of things. You briefly mentioned congenital problems earlier, from birth stuff. Sometimes the factory just didn't get the order right. I say I've seen thousands of individuals at this point. Everybody's a little different, man. And sometimes you've got little wonky bits, and that's something you're going to have to work around. But for the most part, by and large, it's movement. It's, all of this is force management. And if you think about the legs, you think about the lower unit, your hips are made to be the place where the muscles gain the first leverage to really push, right? They push down through that bone. I talked the other day about all we do is push bone all day long, pushing bone, and everybody laughed, but they won't forget it. Because that's all you do is you push bone. Bones are inert. Muscles push bone, right? And so as you push out through the hips, those big bones, your femurs get pushed down, they get leveraged down. They communicate that through the knee, and then they communicate that further through the ankle, right? Everything after the generation is communication, right? The main act of walking is produced by the action of the hips. The muscles in the hips push you forward. The muscles in the legs, the muscles across the knee and the ankle mainly communicate that force or augment or stabilize that force that's already been generated through the hips, right? And so if you think of it that way, and you look at the way that that communication occurs at the point where you make that kind of leverage off the surface, where you gain leverage for the actual move, right? The traction part. If your foot doesn't strike that way, the way that it's structured can't work. It's a leaf spring. You go in, you load it, and doing it springs you out, right? If you don't load it right, if you're, say, for instance, your feet are turned that way, it can't do that anymore. Add that to the list of can't do's, right? Because if I'm turned out like that, my hips can't work, right? Hips go forward really well, but they don't turn that way so well, right? And so my hips are limited. What the hell are my knees going to do? I haven't evolved enough to become a crab yet. I'm working on it. They're pointed out this direction, right? So they just lock up, and then your ankles are attached to these little leaf springs that are supposed to spring you along. Well, they're turned sideways. There's no leaf springing, so you get compromise. It pronates, and then you push I picture a canoe on concrete, and you take your paddle and push it. Because you take the side of that thing and it's a physical process. You take the side of that thing that's supposed to do this and you achieve movement with it. And that's these terms that I build in here, that I bring back around. The way I describe these things is helpful because it gives you a word for it. You achieve movement this way. This is an act of force generation sitting in a chair, right? That's what the NLP element of this is. I myself have forced myself, Robert Anton Wilson style, to come up with a more direct way to explain what's really going on here. And when you turn your foot this way, you achieve movement by doing, right? I can't do it right with my hand. There you go, right? Achieve movement by proper use of that little leaf spring. If you turn that leaf spring sideways, how are you going to achieve movement? And then you've got this locked system above it. You don't have a whole lot of options. You achieve movement by driving the middle of it into the ground and forcing yourself forward, like you would with a paddle that would turn sideways and drive against the ground. That's what you're doing, right? And it sounds disgusting to me when I start thinking about it that way, because I have such an appreciation for the art of the way the system's put together, right?
Yeah.
To jam myself through reality like that, to just force it, it's gross. And then that force is, again, communicated incorrectly up to the knee joint, where it creates that shear force of the knee popping to the inside, right? Or that, not shear force, but the torsion there on the knee where it's popping to the side, right? Horrific. My knees hurt.
Yeah. Okay.
My ankles hurt. And I said, my sister's got.
Yeah, sorry.
What's
Go
that?
ahead.
My sister, for example, my sister had, she's got a bad disease. Far from her brain is where she bleeds. She's got a bad disease. It's called CrossFit.
What? I didn't hear it.
It's called CrossFit. It's hard for me to admit this out loud. My sister's got, it's like she's got CrossFit. It's a pretty severe case of it. Okay. I think it may be terminal. Who knows? Hey guys, let's get together and do Olympic lifts as heavy as we can, as fast as we can, as many times as we can, and see who breaks first. Our mascot used to be a clown with rhabdomyolysis, whose kidneys were falling out through his orifices. Let's go have some fun. So she messed up her ankle 15 years ago. And she's my younger sister. She's a year and a half younger than me. And now she's checking out this awesome Canadian health system so she can find a good doctor to do her hip replacement. She got an ankle injury at CrossFit. Refused to quit because, CrossFit. And so she kept pushing it and kept pushing it and kept pushing it. You cannot coach your family, especially if they do CrossFit. And so, and again, guys, I've seen some people get jacked, shredded, stomped out, diesel from CrossFit. So if it works for you, great, but it hurts a lot of people because of the parameters. And yeah, if you've got a problem in that part of your system, give it time, you'll have a problem in the rest of your system. So if your ankles are bothering you, go find out why. Again, don't be afraid to go get checked out by a doctor. You guys give it away for free up there, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yes.
Well, you Americans,
depending on
you Americans,
yes, it's a very good system here. But the waiting is depending on how things are. If it's not an emergency, you can wait a long time. Question for you. You just mentioned ankle. And the next thing on my list was ankle sprain, because that is also a very common injury, whether sport or non-sport. But I think a lot more people have that when they are more into sports like badminton or pickleball or fast movements, tennis and stuff. So in terms of ankle sprain, is there something that we can do to make our ankle stronger, or wear something to make it, to protect it?
Did you say wear something protected?
Yeah.
After the conversation we had about knee braces, young lady, Jesus. All right, so check it out, guys. What you can do is quite simple, really. Stand on one foot. And then stand on the other foot. That'll be a start, because you're training your ankle to stabilize, okay? If that gets boring, then there are things you can do, like if you've got a balance piece, a piece of balance equipment, or even a foam roller or something like that, you can stand on those things. Stand on one foot, stand on the other foot, but expect say if you're right-handed, I talk about the dark room principle. If because your body's bilaterally symmetrical, right? But it's balanced across this axis here. So if I stand up on my left leg, doing things with my left arm's a little wonk, but doing stuff with my right arm, sweet as can be. Same as I stand on my right leg, doing stuff with my right arm's a little wonk, but left arm gets out there and does business, right? You're balanced across here in a few different ways. They call them your slings, connecting your back muscles to your hips, connecting your hips to your hips, and then connecting your hips to your hips, right? It's lats, glutes, I think glutes, adductors, and then adductors, abductors, right? But it links you together in three different imaginary cooperative lines across your body, right? So what you should do if you want to improve your ankle stability is single leg stance. You can do some simple lunges down onto it, or you can get a little balance disc or something like that. Spend some time on one foot until you're comfortable both with your balance and with stabilizing that joint. Try not to let your knee go whoop, 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 whoop. Try and put some focus into your hips so you're keeping that movement in your hip. Because again, it's all about how you communicate that force. And if you're just out there flying around the field like I see a lot of people, you don't really care where that force is going, do you? You're just letting it fly, right? Take a moment. Don't move just willy-nilly. Move with intention. Put your will into it. I will my hips to move. I'm going to put this into my hips. I'm going to keep that focus on my stomach and my hips when I move through space. I always tell everybody, even when I pick my nose, I send a command to my core first. Core, arm, pick the nose, right? Because that's my command center. If I send my command there first, then everything else comes out from there, right? It's a simple thing. It's subtle. But that's what I was talking about before when you were saying that, like, you have a hard time remembering to sit up straight. Don't think about sitting up straight. You might get there eventually, but who gives a shit? You just sat up straight. Who cares? I move with a core focus. I send every command to this central control part of my body and then out to where I want to move. So when I sit, it's natural for me to sit like this because I'm sending a command to my core and I'm benefiting from that. Boy, that feels really good. Look what I did. I found something that I actually see as being valuable. And I did that. Not, we'll learn how to sit up straight. Teacher said I should sit up straight. I'm going to sit up straight. Nah, man. That's not valuable. You don't care about that. Or you'd be sitting up straight. Find something you care about. Core-centric movement. If you move around for a week, I promise, if I could take my, not any of the crazy stuff, I'd wipe the gross stuff off. If I could take my mindset and give it to you of how to connect to your core, just that one element. And I gave that to you for a week, and I took it back, you'd hurt for it. You build it yourself. Because the way it makes reality feel, the way it is to move around with that focus, that's something worth reaching for. He give you something to reach for. You said, oh, I want to sit up straight. Why do you want to sit up straight? Because they said it was good. Well, yeah, okay, we're already pretty far down the line if you don't care, right? Well, they said it was good. He said it would make me feel better. Vague sense of potential benefit. Nah, man, you're not doing it. If you do, it's luck or it's some kind of ridiculous discipline. I don't have time for discipline. I don't believe in motivation. You've got stuff that's valuable. You get that. That's it. That's all there is. Discipline? Yeah, but why? Motivation? For what? If you really find something and you say, you know what, this is undeniably positive, beneficial, and something that's good for me, you'll do it. And so with the hips, with the knees, with the ankles, with the entire lower unit, with the whole of human movement, send that command to your core, then send it to the bigger joints, then communicate it out, right? So with your lower unit, if you're a sports person, you have a problem with your ankles or your knees, you're not moving out of your hips, I promise. Because if you're moving out of your hips, if you got the focus on your core, you send the command to the center, and then pow, activate those hips. Then pay attention to how that's communicated through the rest of the system, no problems. And your performance is going to skyrocket. It's going to go nuts because all of a sudden, you're doing it right. You've been getting these great results because you're a sports person. You would have quit if you sucked. And now you're doing it right. Watch what happens. And so that's something you can set up in your mind and say, I'm going to chase that. That's my ring to grab. Because all this other crap is just vague. Someone said this. I saw a guy on the internet say it was good. And nah, dude, make that personal. Find out why. Go feel it. Come to class.
So then I think you just mentioned basically the secret really behind all of the right movements is to connect to the core. But you make it sound so simple in the sense that okay, wait. I definitely have a hard time doing it automatically. I have to remind myself. So then how do you do it? Like, is it a process of getting used to it, or like, how do you do that? Like, I don't find that easy.
Look at your picture. Look at your video right now.
Okay.
Look at you.
What about it?
Look at you. Who is that?
Quinn.
Tell yourself a story about her body.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
Don't say it out loud. You'll lie. You'll fucking lie.
Okay. All right.
Tell yourself a story about her body. There it is. Because I just did the same thing. I looked at me. Told myself a story about his body. There it is. Come to class, guys. Things are getting weird around here. I had some really weird success the last 2 classes because I'm not trying to be anything. But I feel like with the stuff that I've done, with the things I've put myself through, with whatever this math has wrought upon me, I got a little taste of the source, and I know what it is I need to say. For some reason, I'm sitting here in front of you guys talking. That's weird. That's weird. I got to make it count. There's got to be some reason I'm here. So I'm not here to tell you about, okay, so guys, the studies have shown that the 5 sets of 5 repetitions is superior in hypertrophic range than the traditional 10 repetitions for 3 sets for most muscle. That's ridiculous. You can learn this shit somewhere else, man. There's something weird I got to tell you guys, and this is part of it. Look at your picture. Look at your video. Look at you. Tell yourself a story about that person's body. That's where it starts. Because if you don't like the story you're telling, tell it different. That's where it begins. If you look at yourself and you see a sack of shit, you see some lazy person, you see your flaws, you see whatever, then okay, that's what you see. That's what you'll build. That's what you'll live. If you see somebody that's a high-level elite ninja, then hey, man, nobody needs to know. It's just between you and the person in the video. Tell yourself a story, a fun story, an engaging story about your physicality, and then live that. Begin living that. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what condition you're in. I don't care how you were when you grew up. You've got all these stories you tell yourself now that keep you from telling you the one that's going to make you happy, the one that's going to make you engage your core, the one that's going to make it feel right to just be. I love to be strong. I hate working out. I don't like spending my time going to the gym to work out. I'm lazy like you guys are. I'm not lazy. I'm misaligned. I like to be strong. So when I think about grabbing the kettlebells, now there's a pile of bells over there. And every time I walk past them, I think about grabbing, just whipping it around. I'm not trying to work out. I like being strong. I like feeling strong. And so when I grab that kettlebell, I'm whipping around a couple times. It feels really good because that was me being strong. Like I'm sitting here being strong right now. But if I go over there and grab that kettlebell and throw it around a couple times, that's a different kind of being strong. It's like an act of being strong. And I love that. I love that feeling. I don't have a fragility inside me. I don't have a fear of, oh no, can't pick that up. Oh no, I can't do that. Get that out of your head. Tell yourself a story about this person right here that includes these things that you want. And you'll start adopting the habits. You'll start aligning your behavior with that self-identity.
I love that. Okay, thank you for that reminder. Thank you for that. And that's why you start with the neural as the day one. Okay, actually, 2 more questions because I think this is super important in terms of flexibility and agility. How important is it? And it's, like for me, I can't bend down and touch my toe that easily. I have to do quite a few stretch in order for me to touch the toe. But do you recommend us to do more stretching so that we can actually be more flexible and all that?
So I used to do this thing back in the day. When I was training personal trainers, I came up with a wheel diagram, right? And we sat down, me and a couple people sat down and talked about it, and we balanced out, what was it? Strength and flexibility for muscles, range of motion, and stability for joints. Okay, so you got to balance these things. You got to have muscles that are strong, but if they're too strong, they're inflexible. So you got to have flexibility and strength. And then you've got joints. You've got to have range of motion out of your joints, but if they got too much range of motion, they're unstable. So you got to balance range of motion and stability. If you get those things in the perfect balance, you've got a good balanced body, and you're able to be at neutral, right? So yeah, flexibility is definitely a huge part of mobility because you want to be able to have that range of motion in the joints, but you got to have strength at the same time, right? A lot of people end up inflexible because they don't actively stabilize. You've got a need for stability. When you move, you got to make sure you do so without falling over or without compromising some key system to that moving, right? And so you have a need for stabilization. A lot of people will draw that stabilization from locked systems. If it's locked, it's stable. Technically. In fact, locked is like stable turned up to 11. You know what I mean? And so they'll use that as the point around which they stabilize. And then all their movement becomes a compensation pattern for the fact that that new locked place is their stabilization core instead of that movement, that twisting, that counterbalancing, that generating and resisting of forces inside that you're supposed to have that allows you to move with stability and fluid mobility, right? So yeah, in answer to your question, the flexibility is essential up to the point that you have proper range of motion. Now, on top of that, as I just said, if I'm locked up, where's my agility? If I'm locked up, I might appear agile in a couple different modalities of movement because they align with my locked up nature, but it's not real agility. Real agility is a dynamic quality that comes from that balancing that I was just talking about. If you've got good mobility, if you've got good flexibility and strength, you can be a lot more agile, right? Because when you move, you're not just, like I said, your body, part of the role that your body performs is it distributes force. And so deceleration, especially dynamic active deceleration, like in running or in jumping down, is something that requires your body to be flexible, because a part of that is the actual expansion of your physical tissue. The muscle takes on some of it with its contraction, right? It'll contract or relax. Muscle only does two things, contract and relax, right? So it'll contract and hold that and stabilize by absorbing that force. Sometimes it'll stretch a little bit. Just the physical tissue will just have that elasticity that allows it to absorb a little bit of that energy. That's energy right there that's being absorbed into that system. Anytime you see a flex like that, it's energy being absorbed into the system. That's what you feel as the pain or discomfort between your joints, is that's energy right there being absorbed into that system in a different physical way. So it's not all contraction. Sometimes it's the stretching of the tissues themselves, the connective tissue, the muscles, whatever, that helps to dissipate that force. So your agility is a product of your mobility, right? If you have good mobility, good flexibility, you're going to have a lot more ability to be agile. But also there's a huge proprioceptive element, which again is impossible if your body's locked up, because you're not going to be able to properly stabilize. If you've already found stable in a locked up place, and I bring you in here and I say, okay, cool, engage your core, you're going to be like, and you'll tighten up the place where you're tight already. You won't be able to neurologically access the core because you've already stabilized somewhere else. The brain doesn't like to check blocks twice. And if you're stabilizing somewhere inappropriately through locked up tightness, your brain will go there every time I tell you to stabilize. And I'll watch it happen. I'll watch you flex up these weird muscles every time I challenge your balance until I break you out of that. And then I say, okay, cool. Now that you've stopped doing that thing you were doing, let's focus that core. And then boom, you've got the access to another neurological pathway towards stabilization. And so again, flexibility is a precursor. If you don't have that flexibility, there's a chance you're going to be interrupting the command that you would use to have proper agility. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So then in that case, what do you, in your class, what do you teach or what do you recommend people to do for flexibility?
As I was saying, we don't mess about with me walking in the door and saying, okay, guys, here's a list of virtues. These things are good. Don't argue. We come in and we say, all right, cool. Day one, neutral posture. We need to have a scientific basis for analysis. We need to have zero state set. Otherwise, we can't make any appeals to anything in any real sense aside from the completely subjective. And so we start off there. And I assess your ability to, at rest, comfortably sit in neutral posture, because that's your muscles in balance, right? From there, we go forward and say, okay, cool. Well, what do I need to do to get you into neutral? And then I put you through some movements, some simple movements, loading patterns. Day 2 is usually squats and deadlifts and stuff like that. I load the lower unit and watch how you respond. Then day 3 on muscle day, I bring you back in and we do upper body a lot because it's a lot more muscle dependent, right? So it's a good way to teach these things. I mean, there are muscles in the lower unit and there's loading and proper alignment in the upper unit. So we cross teach those things, but we use the lower to teach the skeleton, and we use the upper mainly to teach the muscles. But we teach you how to properly load these things by assessing how you do it right now and saying using the neutral posture as a foil, right? So from there, we're able to get it sorted out and get you into position and then pat you on your little ass and say, now get out there and do it right this time.
Okay, and so and we're going to get to the point where I'm so grateful that we're actually going to launch an online version of this, because I know that you do it offline and the difference is huge. And the people who, you're in Vietnam, we're here in Canada and US, so we need something online to actually do this. So at the end, I just signed up we just created a website or a wait list, join the wait list. So for any of you who's interested in joining Travis's class online, hit the button. Go to the website called NLF. It's NLF movement method.com. nlfmovementmethod.com. And when you go there, you're going to see the sign up button for the wait list. And then as soon as we have enough people interested, we will launch the online class. And I think in terms of the benefit, the definitely being offline and in person is way, way better. But this is where we can start with the foundation until we can get in person. But Travis, one thing before we finish for tonight, before we wrap up, and that is, so in terms of a lot of people, well, including myself, we definitely feel as we age, the body tends to be more fatigued, more it's like the battery discharging much faster than when we were 20 or 30. Is that a normal thing, or is there something that we can do to reverse that situation? The energy part.
I'll try not to talk about telomere extension too much here. So yeah, aging. Okay, your cells don't replace themselves as efficiently anymore. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how it's going to go to a certain extent. Like, we haven't been able to overcome the effects of aging. We haven't, the Japanese are doing some weird things. I mentioned telomere extension. Go look that up. There's some science being applied to it. There are some people who view aging as a disease, as a slow oxidation. There's a bunch of different ideas out there about it. So we'll deal in the real. Yes, expect it. Expect that as you age, the processes of your body are going to slow down, that you're not going to be as resilient. You're not, again, your cells aren't going to replace at the same rate. Your metabolism is going to change. They said there are 2 different phases. It's funny. I was home. My parents are 60, I think they're both 68, 69 years old. I'm 44. And so I looked up, I tell everybody I'm in my really, 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 really late 20s. Technically true, right? State of mind, guys. But this study popped up while I was home that said that there are 2 distinct stages at which aging speeds up for a small period. Guess what those 2 distinct ages were? 44 to 46 and 67 to 69 or something like that. And my mom and dad and I were like, whoa. The science is still coming back in. But what we know for sure, guys, your systems will change. The best thing you can do, of course, is start now. The Anthony Robbins thing. when is now a good time to start doing things right? But that's a great question. And that's a little tricky to play with your own mind. When is now a good time to get started? And so begin now. The biggest determining factor, again, we've done a lot of science, which means we've got a bunch of really great questions, but it also means we've picked a few nuggets out of the sand. And one of those nuggets is it's one of the biggest determining factors overall health in septuagenarians is lean muscle mass. So I know a lot of people that are skinny fat. You look at them, they look okay in a set of clothes, but then you put them on the machine and the machine says 30% body fat. Because what's there isn't substantial. What's there is just flesh. You don't want that. You want a body that's made out of lean mass, okay? So you got to do load-bearing movement. You got to lift weights. Additionally, for the ladies particularly, you guys have a tendency to lose bone density a lot more than we do. Your body's a machine. None of this is an earthquake. Some of this is an earthquake. Now we're getting into earthquake territory, right? When we're talking about aging, we do begin to talk about earthquake weather, right? Thanks, Beck. So there are things that you can't stop, but there are some things that you can slow down. There are some things you can avoid entirely. And one of those ways to do that is through challenging the system with weight. Let the body know it's still useful. Let the brain, let the nervous system signal it, stimulate it that, hey, I'm not ready to get up from the table yet. I'm still eating that. Move it, use it. Go generate force with it, and your brain, your nervous system will be like, oh shit, we need to still put resources into this. Otherwise, it's going to say, she just uses this part and these parts anyway. Let the other stuff go. Divert resources to that. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what happens. It's exactly what happens. I don't have to dress that up at all. That's exactly how it happens. Your body will prioritize what you prioritize. Stimulate it, and it'll respond.
Wow, lovely. I really love that ending. Now, the real ending is actually me asking you, what is your happy pill? So usually I'm asking this question of all my guests. And last week I forgot to ask you this. So this week I made a note and I put a sticky note so that I won't forget. But so what do you do when shit hits the fan, or when things don't go so well, or when you just want to have a happy pill? What is your happy pill?
Man. So
take as long as you need, by the way, because I feel like everything is okay, good.
Well, gee, Gwen, my happy pill is because I got to put the mask on to do this. You guys don't want to know. My happy pill is okay. I can give you a real answer for that because normally I would deride questions like that. Sorry, that's the place I found myself. And if I'm to be real, I would deride that question. I won't deride that question though, because out of love for my sister. So check this out. I'll tell a story instead.
Okay.
The Buddhists talk about this concept of interdependent origination. They say this arises, that becomes. And for those of you that are reading the Buddha Shonen Jumps, that's pretty resonant, right? I was sitting with a friend in Myanmar. It was 3 weeks in, and this guy had come. We met him at Earthship, and I remember sitting there like the second night we were at Earthship, and I've been watching this dude. We've been interacting some minimally. The wife was out doing her thing. She's a little queen bee. She always becomes the center of stuff. I look at this dude, and I'm like, and I smacked him on the leg, and I'm like, bro, you and I are going to become like brothers, right? And he looks at me and he smiles. He's like, yep. And we did. We became like the brothers of the whole thing. We were just, it was an instant bro down. And so he comes to Myanmar with us for 3 weeks after, right? And we're sitting there on the last day. He's about to leave. And so, I got to give my final sales pitch because I got to get this guy to give up his whole life and come out and do this jungle stuff with us, right? And so we go down to the site and we sit there and I was like, all right, man, you know what this is, Randy? And he goes, yeah. I said, it's my final pitch. And he goes, okay, I've thought about this already. What about fulfillment? And I said, and I had to think about it for a second. For me to answer, what is your happy pill? For me to answer, what about fulfillment? I have to do the mental work of creating a reality. But first, I have to build that concept. Fulfillment, okay? To build the concept of fulfillment, I have to build at the same time a very small area of fulfillment and a very huge area of not fulfillment, okay? I have to create a reality in which these qualities that I've identified as being the qualities that identify fulfillment are within this little ring and everything else is outside that ring, okay? I have to create that. And then I have to answer this theoretical, this hypothetical for me in the terms of I got to create a reality in which it's possible that I wouldn't feel and experience the things that you just termed as being fulfillment. And so when you ask me what my happy pill is, I guess my happy pill is the fact that when you ask me that question, I have to create a reality in which I need a happy pill.
Oh. Okay.
So that's my happy pill.
You make it think. You make it too complicated.
I don't make it sit. You don't know what it's like in here.
No, but you know what? What I just heard there is pretty much you are always content. And then so the happy pill, what is your happy pill? You don't need one. You don't have one. Apparently you don't have one. Seriously? That is so
you get to a point, you have enough good. I have been a creature of the extremes.
Mm-hmm.
If you name it, and it's an experience that one can have, I've had a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so much good. All the things that you guys like, that you enjoy doing, et cetera, aside from like jet setting around the world and being a bajillionaire and all the, no. I mean, the real human experiences that you and I could really commiserate on, I've had those to 11. The bad stuff, the suffering, the pain, I've had those to 11. I've been on both sides of the extremes. And so once you have that kind of extreme of experience, something you notice is you either become a junkie and you're seeking that next high, you're always chasing the dragon. And I've seen some guys completely destroy themselves that way. But hey, man, that's their trip. They seem to enjoy it. They did it with a smile on their face, and now they're a whispered memory. For me, I got to a point where I kind of inverted. I hear that rooster over there. I see, and it sounds so fucking cheesy. This sounds so put on, but really, it's enough.
Mm.
It's all enough. There's so much richness here. There's so much richness in suffering. There's so much richness in the other thing, enjoyment, whatever you would call it, right? We've got a word for suffering, but we don't have a key like another term. You know what I mean? Funny. But it's all there in the positive, the negative. It's all just being. And I mean, I'll never be anything except what I am right now. You'll never be anything except what you are right now. Whatever right now is, you'll always be that. And so if you find it there in that, you find all the richness that's there in that, you can't hope for more. You can't want for more. You can't you can't put a value statement on positive experience or pleasant experience is somehow more valuable than negative. It all becomes this thing that feeds you. And it sounds so cheesy, doesn't it? But it really happens. And I'm to that place. I don't have happy. I enjoy it. I enjoy it all.
That is phenomenal. I mean, I think this answer, I don't think anyone would answer like you, seriously. because it's supposed to be a very fun thing to share, but you go so deep.
I crapped all over it.
You went so deep, but you know what? That was so beautiful. I don't think there's a better answer than that. Seriously. That is the ultimate happy pill, which is acceptance of whatever it is, and there's no need for any happy pill. That is so pretty, so beautiful. Love you. Really, really love and appreciate you.
I love you too, sis. I tell her that every time we get off a call, and she's all Canadian, so she's just like, okay, bye. I'm American, man. I'm a hugger. I'll give you a big hug. I come from the country, man. I love you guys.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? If you've liked Travis style, and as you can see, he's like that, and he's on and off camera. He's exactly like that. So if you actually like him that way, you will love working with him as your trainer, because I don't think you get a better someone who cares about you and someone who actually sees you for who you are and who you can become. I think that's what's beautiful about you, Travis, because when you see us move, you know right away something is wrong. Like you can actually identify our pain because of the way we move, which is beautiful. And so if your body has been craving some change, or it has been giving you signals, whether it's a soft whisper or a loud 2x4 hit on your face, or if you've got something, I highly recommend you to actually sign up for Travis' program that's he's launching online. So just go to nlfmovementmethod.com and you will see the link to register. And then that way we can start it as soon as we have enough people interested. And the thing is this, I highly recommend that you actually go offline with him and actually meet him in person. And if you want to do that, I'm actually going to send out a survey because I'll be doing that myself. So if you are a foreigner in Canada or in the US and you want to visit Vietnam, a beautiful country, many complications, but in the jungle itself, it looks like Travis here is living kind of out there somewhere in the jungle here. I think it would be very, so if anyone is interested in that retreat, and I want to do like at least a 2 weeks to a month kind of retreat with you, so that if I were to offer that, then maybe whoever is interested, maybe they can let us know. But Travis, I cannot wait to co-host the online version, and then to run, or at least to organize a retreat in Vietnam for us foreigners here to go back and check out Vietnam as part of a vacation / life-changing transformation, whole retreat, body and mind and all that. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I will definitely be in touch, and I can't wait to meet you in person very soon.
Soon enough, guys. Soon enough. Plane tickets are cheap.
No, 3,000 right now. Unbelievable. It went up like what?
Gas.
It used to be 1,800. Now it's 3,000 with all of what's happening.
Right?
Yeah,
it's insane.
Insane.
So get over here before the world ends, guys. We'll build a bunker or something. Come on.
Exactly. You know what? This is one of those. You know how there's always a like an India trip, a Banga trip, like maybe a mushroom trip, like those kinds of trips that we all want to do and try. We're gonna do a Travis trip. So
we do the whole thing, man. And bring elements of all those things, and we'll do it all together. We'll just make it like a super trip.
Yeah, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. Okay, thank you so much, Travis. I'll see you, and I'll see everyone sometime. Well, tomorrow we're gonna be asking Ruby to do the Q&A as well in Vietnamese, because I feel like this whole thing, the NLF program, the movement, I think it's definitely something that every one of us should give us that gift, and or especially our children, because it'll it'll be the foundation of how we move and function our entire life. So this is the foundation. Thank you for your
Woo.
work. And, I can't wait to be offline with you very soon. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye
See you guys.
bye.
Bye.